Ghost Rider. So Ghost Rider stars Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, who is a stunt motorcyclist who gives up his soul to become a hell-blazing vigilante named Ghost Rider to fight against power-hungry Blackheart, the son of the devil himself, Mephistopheles, played by Peter Fonda. So yeah, this movie is directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who directed um, the 2003 Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. A movie that I thought was pretty bad. But you know what? I actually rather watch that movie over this movie. And any day. But also, I would actually watch this movie over the fucking sequel of the movie Spirit of Vengeance, which is awful, terrible, one of the worst movies of all time. But we'll get that. But we'll get there when we get there. So, how do I want to start? I guess I'll just get the negativities out of the way. I'll get the negatives out of the way, and then I'll end this video talking about what I liked about this movie, because there are maybe not a lot, not a whole lot, because this movie is it's not a good movie. It's a really bad movie, but there are a few couple things that I actually did like. But we'll get there. We'll save that towards the end of the film, of the video, excuse me. And I love Nicolas Cage. I love this man. But this movie, Jesus, this is not the first time I've seen this movie. But like, I love Nicolas Cage. Um, this movie is trying to be like a blend of like, it's trying to be like a superhero movie, but also a little bit of, also a romantic, um, but also a romantic movie as well, like focusing on these two characters, Johnny Blaze, Johnny and Roxanne, played by Eva Mendes, and but it's just, I don't know. We'll get there, but yeah, I felt like, oh, jeez, this movie is just way too like campy. Like this movie came out now. This movie came out in 2007. When it comes to Marvel or just like superhero movies in general, they are usually like single individual movies. There are no like, extended, there's no shared universe. There's no, you know, um, there's no, not controversy, continuity. There's no continuity. There's no, they don't need to worry about continuity. They don't need to worry about, a shared cinematic universe until 2008, a year later, with the first Iron Man movie, which will kick off what the entire world will know as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But anyway, yeah, so superhero movies were just very individual and like broken. And they were also trying to figure themselves out. And they're still trying to figure themselves out. Like the early to mid 2000s, like I don't know when, but like the 1990s, I guess. Like the 1990s, 1980s, all the way to like the early to mid 2000s, superhero comic book movies, they were trying to figure themselves out. They weren't great. They were cheesy and stupid, campy, corny, having all these people walking around in these Halloween costumes. It was very difficult to take to take them seriously, and they try to take themselves seriously, but at the end they just drop the ball and they fail, kind of like they did with Daredevil. Well, yeah, Daredevil too, because that movie is directed by Mark Steven Johnson, but also this movie as well. It falls in that category. It fails. It fails to be a good movie, and it fails to be anything better, anything amazing. So yeah, this movie is just way too campy and so silly. Um, when you compare it to the actual, like, this is Ghost Rider we're talking about. It's supposed to be like dark and gritty and hellish and like literally hellish, like the source material. And I like Nicolas Cage, but I don't think he would be a good um Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. I mean, I could picture anyone else really, but Nicolas Cage really. Nick Cage as Ghost Rider. I mean, he acts nothing like Ghost Rider. I mean, instead of like being this scary demonic creature, like, appearance like he is in the comics, but other than that, I felt like the whole act, and by the way, a majority of the acting in this movie is awful. Like, I'm talking about like Wes Bentley, even though like the main characters, Wes Bentley, Eva Mendes, Nicolas Cage, their characters and their acting, um, in this movie is like some of the worst things I've ever seen in a movie. It's just their acting is terrible. It's terrible. And once again, Nicolas Cage, he's just overreacting. He's just overreacting. He's going over the top. He's delivering like these over the top, like crazy Jim Carrey. It kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey's Whittler. At a point, it really did. And then his acting, Nicolas Cage's acting in this movie is just over the top. It reminded me of like something from The Witcher or like any of the bad movies, which are a lot. Like Nicolas Cage, I love this man, but he stars in a lot of like really over the top, like overacting movies, and they're all like either those movies either have mixed to negative reviews or they're panned by critics. So yeah, but yeah, it's like the performances given by the cast are just terrible, just terrible. Um, Eva Mendes is just there, like, I don't know, like out of any character, like any, there are like dozens of actresses in Hollywood and like in the film industries back in 2007. They could have cast any actress and they casted Eva Mendes. I have nothing, now don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against Eva Mendes. I don't think she's a terrible actress or anything. I think she's a terrible actress, but her acting in this, I didn't believe her as this. Her acting, like her, I didn't believe her as this reporter. Like she's supposed to play a reporter, but like the way she's talking, I feel like she's not even. I feel like Eva isn't like giving any energy. Like she's not enthusiastic about being like she's just like, whatever, I'm just here for a paycheck. But like I just, her acting was terrible. I didn't believe her. I felt like it was lazy. I felt like she was literally like actually lazy. Like she just woke up and just delivered her lines and whatever. I think she's just there for eye candy. But whatever. Moving on, Blackheart, played by Wes Bentley. He looks nothing like he does in the comics, and then he and his little goon squad looks like something from Twilight, or looks like something from Twilight, or like one of those like rock bands, like those really like those rock band horror, you know. Is That's kind of what he reminds me of. He looks nothing like he does in the comics. In the comics, he's like he's demonic. He only appears in this movie. he only appears in this movie in his human form. We don't actually get to see like Blackheart like he does in the comics, which is like this demonic creature. And he looks really cool, by the way. We don't get to see him. We just see him in this human form. And you know, the special effects on Ghost Rider look really not completely, but like most of the time they look very poor and poorly done. And when Johnny Blaze said, you know, he may take my soul, but he can't take my spirit. What is that dialogue is so laughable. What does that even mean? Like, he may take my soul, but he can't take my spirit? Isn't that the same thing? Isn't a soul and a spirit the same thing? Can any experts tell me? Well, what's the difference? Isn't base whatever. Moving on. There are also some yeah, like whenever Nicolas Cage transforms back and forth, like his transformation scenes, when he transforms back and forth between Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider, there's like some over-the-top music playing in the background and some weird expression given by Nicolas Cage, performed by Nicolas Cage. It just becomes unintentionally stupid and awkward and weird and funny. And this movie can sometimes overtly become ridiculous at times. So yeah, but anyway, those are the things that I didn't like about this movie. I thought the action, but you know, moving on to the positives, you know, the action scenes, I mean, they look pretty cool. Not like one of the, like, not like, it wasn't like mind blowing. It wasn't like a spectacle, an amazement, you know, that I was witnessing. But I just thought it looked pretty cool. I thought the design of Ghost Rider looks great. The CGI, you know, like the CGI, you know, the effects may not look good, but the CGI did. You know, there are some scary moments which fits well with the tone of Ghost Rider. And also, the only two actors that I actually thought were pretty good, were pretty decent, solid, not too terrible, was the performance given by Sam Elliott as the caretaker and Peter Fonda as the devil Mephisto, or in this movie Mephistopheles, you know, like his full name. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for Ghost Rider. Yeah, just terribly cast, like terribly cast. Pretty much a majority of the cast in this movie gave terrible and lame acting performances. It wasn't like strong. It wasn't strong. It wasn't great or amazing. Nicolas Cage, once again, he's overacting and giving over-the-top performances like he does in the past. There are some stupid, ridiculous scenes that came across that became unintentional, ridiculous, and funny and like stupid. But yeah. But anyway, that's all I have to say for Ghost Rider. If you've seen this movie, God, Sony, God. If you've seen this movie, what did you think about it in the comment section below? Thank you so much for taking your time to listening to my review. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see all of you lovely people really soon.